What? Meeting will come to order, please. The notice. Right, Danny?
Further towards the landing dock.
Let's go.
Past the heated apartment.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual meeting notice was sent to the press, Dow Beach Current, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, on the municipal website, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. Would you please take a second, turn off electronic equipment, and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Rich, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Becker?
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Here.
Okay, we have one item for discussion today before we go to department head reports. Mr. Verna? That's you.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. A week ago, a letter came across my desk, and the only reason it did is because I handle the mercantile licensing for the city and all the businesses. And the letter was from the Division of Alcoholic Beverage Control, I guess granting permission for a specific location to have the availability of, I guess, selling or tasting of the wine from a certain company. Now, this had been done in the past at a location that was already a liquor store. It actually was a wine store on Washington Avenue. Now, when I read through it, you know, I understand the permission that they gave them. I understand all of that. My question really was the location that they were going to allow it to happen. And the location is a place called Anchor Arts, which is on Essex Avenue. And when I distributed the mercantile license and approved their application, it was for a children's arts and craft party store. And so it just read kind of odd to me that this particular grant from ABC would be to that type of an establishment. Now, I don't know all the rules and regulations for liquor control in the city or in the state. I believe our clerk might have more information on that, but it just seems a little odd to me that would be a good location to have that type of distribution going on in that type of an environment. So I decided to bring this up today just for you to think about. I don't know if there's anything that you may want to do. You may want to speak to the clerk about the rules and regulations that go along with it, or maybe get more information on the establishment. But it just seemed a little odd to me that that type of thing would be granted at that type of a location. So I decided to just bring it up today for you guys to think about. And I absolutely wouldn't want you to make any type of decision right now, just food for thought, and then see where it goes. But I just couldn't sit on it without letting you know that, in my opinion, it seems kind of odd that at a children's arts and craft party location, they would be distributing wine and that. Yes?
I do know firsthand that it's not just children's, because I happen to be at a party, drop people off at a party there about a week ago. Okay, but why don't we get hold of the people from Anchor Arts, see what their intentions are. Obviously, Balak wants to, sell these things. Okay? John,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I know you stated that you don't know a whole lot, neither do I, about liquor control licensing and all. But is it Anchor Arts applying for this, or is it Balak Winery applying? And in the same question is, will open containers of alcohol be on premises when children, which I'm well aware, because during the day they do children's arts program, well, children are on the premise, then I think I have a major issue with it.
Yeah, and I, like I said, I'm not that up to date on it, but I believe it is Balak Winery who got the approval to do it in that particular location. I don't believe it's Anchor Arts that has the permission. Is that what you understand,
Why
Mayor?
don't you call the owners of Anchor Arts, see what's going on?
Yeah.
Because I agree with Commissioner, and that's why we need more information on this.
Yeah, and like I said, the original application for Anchor Arts was that it was a children's arts and craft party location. Now, if they've changed their way of business, which is okay, that has to be presented to me to update their mercantile licensing.
We all need more information, so
Yeah.
let's...
So I did see it come across. I did want you to know that was going on, and you should know that was going on. And certainly I'll try and find out more about the business location and maybe talk to our clerk about how the Liquor Control Board sees everything.
If I may just dovetail into Fred, there is, the solicitor and I were just speaking about our ordinance. There is a proximity restriction in our ordinance, and we're going to have to reach out to ABC to see how that's applicable, if in fact it is applicable to this application because of the proximity to the liquor license establishment on Atlantic Avenue.
I did ask that question, and this is separate and distinct from any other liquor establishment. So the 500-foot rule, or whatever rule that is, does not apply to this type of permission grant. As a matter of fact, I think Debbie actually gave me the statute for it. I don't know if you have it attached or not.
I'm seeing it now, but was it Debbie felt the 200-foot rule didn't apply? Or is it 500?
I think I do think that she made a phone call up to ABC, is it? Or Liquor Control Board, or whatever we call it. I know she did make a phone call.
We'll take a look at it. Now we're on it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we don't have control.
Okay. Well, I mean, I brought it up because it's pretty much out of my realm.
If I read this
I
correctly,
think-
they're just notifying us that this has been granted.
That it's been granted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's, Scott, would you?
Well, yeah, all liquor licenses are granted by the ABC and the local municipality, and I don't know why we would be an exception here, but we'll find out. We'll get
Okay.
into it.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Fred. Fred, we're going to now start with you with department head reports. You can shine today.
Thank you. Thank you. Everything is going well in my department. My staff is working really hard. And I do have an update on our Project 25 radio upgrade still. They should be all of our radios throughout the city, hopefully by the end of next week, will be upgraded to comply to the FCC's regulations for Project 25. It was a major project that I broke into 2 phases last year and this year, and I certainly could not have gotten it done without the help of Dan Adams, so I'd like to thank him publicly. He stepped in for me because he knew a lot more about the radios than I did, so that was a major undertaking for us, and to get it done in 2 years is a pretty good accomplishment. So again, I'd like to thank Dan for his help. And that's all I have.
Whatever. I'm ready.
Thank you. I'm coming back, Fred. Thank you again, Fred. Mr. Deeney?
I only have one item that I want to address today. Mr. Blumberg, particularly, and all of you in one way or another have asked me about our handbook and our employee handbook, and mainly you've asked me to address it because one particular citizen has come here several times and asked that we revise our policies or implement policies relative to nepotism. And I wanted to assure the public of what we do have at this stage. We have a handbook that's well over 100 pages that has been in existence in one form or another for many years, but we're also a member of the Joint Insurance Fund, and at the last meeting, I believe it was, we had a presentation from the executive director of the Joint Insurance Fund, and we're one of the original and exemplary members of the most successful sharing project in the state of New Jersey's history, which is joint insurance. And we're part of the Atlantic County Joint Insurance Fund to a tune of saving several $1 million over the last 25 years. As they've grown as an organization, one of the strengths of a joint insurance fund is to implement policies to help reduce costs of insurance. And among those are safety provisions, of which we have all kinds of training responsibilities. But also among those are insurance provisions and policies relative to employee and employment law. And what's grown out of that is this 100 and some page document which all of the members of the Joint Insurance Fund must adopt at some point and must be reviewed. The last time we reviewed this was in 2014, which is just a year ago, and this was adopted as of May 1st, 2014. And the Joint Insurance Fund requires us to review all of our policies, of which we have more than 60 in this manual, on not an annual basis, but on a biannual basis, every 2 and sometimes 3 years. So I wanted to start by indicating that. Now, one of the policies of the 60 that's in here has to do with nepotism, and while it is not extensive, it is satisfactory, and basically it talks about not placing employees in a situation where they're supervised by anyone that they might have a relationship with, either familiar or otherwise. And to the best of my knowledge, we abide by that, and we're trained in that and do that on a periodic basis. To have a nepotism policy that out and out forbids people to be employed by any organization because they happen to be related to someone else is not recommended by any of the labor attorneys that I have spoken to, and I've spoken to at least 3 recently. And one of the reasons for that is that every one of us has rights as individuals, and we shouldn't be denied those rights because we happen to be a nephew of someone else, and that includes employment rights. And there are many cases in employment law where people have sued because they have been forbidden to be employed or to be have an opportunities in the workplace because they happen to be related to someone else. Now, I'm not talking about direct supervision. I'm not talking about direct hiring or firing or anybody that has control over that other employee. And if we were to have a situation where that would arise, that conflict needs to be recognized, and someone else would have to deal with that situation. And in fact, we also have, in addition to 115 or so pages and 60 policies, all of which have been approved by the Joint Insurance Fund, we have our own law here, our own ordinance that deals with, and sometimes we forget to look at our own ordinance books, that deals with ethical standards. And I pulled one page of that today, and I'm certainly not going to read it all into the record, but it's available for anybody else who would like to get a copy of it. It's published on our website. And among the things it says is officers and employees of the City of Margate shall meet the following ethical standards and comply with the following provisions. And this is the law. This is not just a policy. No officer, employee, or member of his or her immediate family shall have an interest in any business organization or engage in any business transaction or professional activity which is substantial conflict with the proper discharge of his duties or of the public interest. No officer or employee shall use or attempt to use his or her official position to secure unwarranted privileges or advantages. No officer or employee shall act in his or her official capacity in any manner where he or she shall, or a member of his immediate family or a business organization in which he or she has an interest, has a direct financial or personal involvement that might reasonably be expected to impair his or her objectivity or independence of judgment. No officer or employee shall undertake any employment of service, whether compensated or not, which might reasonably be expected to prejudice his or her independent judgment or exercise of duties. And there are 11 provisions, I only read 5 of them, under this one section of our ethical standards, which are not just an ethical policy, but the law of this city. Lastly, the state of New Jersey has a pay-to-play ordinance, which was or law, which was reviewed a couple of years ago, and all purchases must be acknowledged with professional services and otherwise relative to whether people gave or didn't give to political organizations or political parties or political individual political candidates. And we, like every other municipality, follows that law. Are there violations at times statewide? Have we read about things? Certainly. But to enact something else at this stage, whether it deals with nepotism or anything else, independent of the advice of our joint insurance fund or our advice of our labor attorneys, is not, in my opinion, warranted at this point in time. If the commissioners at such time want us to go further than I have gone, just as this inquiry at the request of Commissioner Blumberg and others, they can so indicate, and we can investigate further and spend money with our labor attorneys and have them give you legal opinions, which I'm quite certain will be substantially similar to what I'm presenting here. I do not represent myself today as an attorney, nor have I ever done so, because I'm not. So that's my report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Scott, you would be next.
Mayor and Commissioners and public, as you know, we had a
Meeting last Friday with our sister city of Summers Point and over a dozen DEP officials with regard to dredging and regard to a resiliency grant of $125,000 that Margate is attempting to implement. And it was somewhat fruitful. We had State Senator Whalen present, Commissioner Amadeo was present, myself. We listened to the DEP officials review some of the criteria that must be met, or having specifically to do with shellfish habitat and disposal sites. I thought it was a very productive meeting. Some of the officials said that they don't ever recall having a meeting quite like that with so many DEP people present. Do you remember that, John? So it was kind of unique. It's one small step for Margate towards getting our back bays dredged. Our next meeting is scheduled with an Assistant Commissioner Virginia Kopchak, which we hope to do within the next 2 weeks. We are trying very hard to overcome this shellfish habitat rule, which to date is blocking the dredging of our Washington Avenue Municipal Pier area. We'd like to get that dredging permit approved because it opens the door to getting dredging for other areas in Margate. So it's something that's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a long time. Don't go out and buy any yachts yet if you live on the bay and it's shallow where your dock is. It's not dredged yet, but we are inching forward with the state to try to come up with a better solution as to how we get our dredging permits and our back bays cleared out for boating. Okay, that's basically all I have.
Thank you very much, Scott. Chief Wilson.
As you're aware, over the last several months, Fred, Vern, and I have been looking at the upgrading of our mobile data terminal system in our vehicles, as well as getting compliant with the legislative mandate for in-car cameras. That will be put up at the next meeting for your consideration pursuant to resolution. Along those lines, we've decided to make the recommendation to also purchase, to go to the next level with body cameras. We were fortunate enough, we have a substantial amount of money in our law enforcement trust fund, which is actually controlled by the prosecutor's office. It sees forfeiture money, and I'm happy to report this week that we got permission to utilize $23,400 out of that fund to purchase body cameras in conjunction with the other stuff. So hopefully you'll take that under consideration for the next meeting, and we'll be good to go. Everything else is good, just gearing up for the Labor Day weekend.
Thank you, Chief. Lisa?
The only thing I wanted to mention is to get you up to date on our health fair for this year. It's our Down Beach Health Fair in conjunction with Ventnor and Longport. It's going to be open to municipal employees for all 3 municipalities. It's going to be held on October 16th here in this room from 11 until 2. Our committee met for the second time yesterday, and so far I believe we have approximately 7 vendors to participate, including a bank, health brokers, Horizon Eye Care, and various other health-related companies and businesses, one of which is the county, who is going to be here and available, and they will be offering flu shots to employees. In years past, that we've always been invited to participate in their countywide flu shot program, where we had to go to one of their locations, and then we were charged a minimal fee per employee. It's my understanding we will still be paying that fee for the employee, but for them to come here, I think is great enhancement or enticement for our employees to not only get a flu shot, but to also attend our health fair in general. So hopefully you can, I just ask that you encourage all the city employees to attend, because I think it'll be a great event. We'll have giveaways and door prizes, raffles, demonstrations for various exercise activities, chair massage, and we'll have a DJ who will be providing music and announcing the door prizes and things like that. So I will keep you posted as it progresses. That's all.
Thank you, Lisa. Good job, as usual. Danny?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. The fire department is gearing up for Labor Day weekend as well. We'll be prepared and ready to go. We also have the 9/11 ceremony to be held on September 11th at Fire Station 1 at 10 a.m. And the beach patrol will be fully operational through Labor Day, and then we'll have select beaches open the entire remainder of the week through the weekend, and then they'll be off the following week and come back for the weekend of the 19th and 20th, and then the season will close at that point. But that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Frank?
We're also gearing up for Labor Day weekend. We will be working the beaches once again and around town, trying to keep it as clean as possible. After the weekend, we will be in the second week of September, so we have to start preparing for our Bay Fest down at the Bay, which means we will be bringing things off the beach also next week, starting with the enclosures. But we will leave down the Moby mats and the trash cans and things like that. The Water and Sewer Department, this past couple of weeks, we fixed a couple water breaks. We also repaired a sewer line. We also installed the sewer line for the old City Hall, plus a water and sewer line into the lot next to it for future use. If you've been by the Senior Pavilion, the pavilion's being painted right now. We're also putting new outdoor lighting around it. The bathhouse will also be painted, and we will be doing some more maintenance work around there. And we already been to a Fall Fun Fest meeting. There's a couple little changes, but everything's pretty much the same, and it's pretty much routine for us now. That's all I have.
As usual, thank you, Frank. Ed?
Okay, I have a lot, so I'll try to keep it quick here. We have many projects that are going to start after Labor Day. The beach access ramp, the beach access handicap for Frontenac Avenue will start. The Ventnor Avenue streetscaping, which is a grant-funded program, will start. The reconstruction of Amherst Avenue from Vendome to Washington will start. Again, it's grant-funded. The municipal building emergency generators, Union Avenue here, that will start. That's also grant-funded. The Decatur Avenue vehicle ramp by Lucy is going to be replaced. That'll start in the fall. Well, number 9 is being redone. That'll be starting this fall. The Ventnor Avenue Parkway Island irrigation system, which is also grant-funded, will be starting this fall. And our 2014/15 road program will be starting this fall. In addition, the South Jersey gas projects, phases 0 through 6, the actual construction work was completed or is in the process of being completed right now. The paving restoration, which will essentially be every street that the gas company has done something on, will be done from gutter to gutter. They are going to pave the whole street from gutter's edge to gutter's edge. The only streets they will not be paving will be the streets that we are doing on our program because they need utility work. That will start from Jerome Avenue to the Ventnor border on the 3rd week of September. The remaining streets that were from Jerome Avenue towards Longport will start the last week of September, or the 1st week of October for the paving restoration. That's phases 0 through 6. Phases 7 through 11 will start sometime in mid-September and will be at various locations throughout the city that have not been done. We will have a pre-construction meeting in the next 2 weeks with the gas company, at which time we will get a more detailed schedule of what streets will be done and when they will be done. We know the streets that will be done, just the sequence and the timing of those streets. They anticipate all the pipe work to be completed by next Memorial Day, at which point the roads will settle over the summer, and those roads will be repaved starting the fall of 2016. So we had a meeting today, and that was all confirmed. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you for working so hard with negotiating with the gas company on the repaving. For the public's information, Ed's brought a larger map, which is right behind him, and if you want to, you can look and see it. The streets that are getting paved starting this fall are all colored, so you can tell. By the end of 2 years, we'll have probably every street in the city pretty much repaved.
Exactly.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
Now I'm going to go back to Jim.
Hey folks, how you doing? Happy Labor Day, everybody. Hope everybody's going to have a nice holiday. I'm looking forward to it. I know you guys are too. We did an inspection today at Thai and Ross School. We gave a TCO for Thai School. We were hoping that it's a 60-day TCO They're supposed to have their heat on by October 15th, so we'll get the boilers up and running, and then we'll go back in and check it out before they get active. But the schools are all operational. They're looking good. They're clean. John did a walkthrough with me, and we verified that those guys really did punch through and get those schools 100%. I'm really glad to see this Friday. The phone has been ringing off the hook. We've gotten so many questions and complaints. It's crazy, just the amount of activity we've had in the last week. I thought everybody went home, but they're all still here. If you want to, give me a call. If you have any questions about your flood insurance policy, I know a couple people are still wondering if they're getting a discount. I'm still reviewing those. You should be getting a 20% discount on your flood insurance. Just double check your policy. Some people are getting close to $1,000 discount. Some people are getting $25. So if you want to, give me a call, stop by, check your policy, and see what's going on. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Jim. Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes, I just have one thing, and I think I'm going to ask a couple of folks to try and help out with this. I think this summer was the worst ever for pedestrians in our crosswalks, as well as for our drivers. And I don't think people really understand the law. I don't think pedestrians understand the law. I think they seem to be emboldened by the law, that they no longer use common sense. Some drivers stop, some don't. And so what I think we need, and what I'd like to try and undertake, and ask the police chief, as well as my fellow commissioners, Rich and Jim, who is our grant writer, to let's go look for some money to undertake an education campaign. Start it early so that for next summer, people will have a better idea of what the expectations are in Margate as it relates to the pedestrian law. That people will know that you cannot go to a red light and walk out into the intersection and expect that a car is going to stop for you. It's really, really incredible, and we are lucky so far. Hopefully we can work an education campaign where we can get pamphlets out to the local businesses, to the stores. We can send information out to homeowners, as many people that can be notified and understand what this pedestrian law means. We are in the midst of studying and undertaking a project to make Atlantic Avenue one lane, but in both directions. Hopefully we'll see that before next summer, which I believe will help. The police chief has recommended it. We're all in support of it. That I hope will go a long way, along with pamphlets and mailings. I hope that next summer will be better than this summer was. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor. Just an update. First off, I wanted to start off, I know Deputy Chief Adams mentioned about our 911 ceremony, which will be on Friday, September 11th at 10 a.m. I had requested from Chief Tabasso that we invite, and I know we can't get all the school kids, but any of the classes from both Roth School and Thai School that want to participate in that special day, which is an important day in all our lives, that they would be welcome to come as they have been in the past. According to Chief Smallwood on the Beach Patrol, Monday through Friday next week, the 7th to the 15th, I guess, the beach will be open, manned every day, and then for the next 2 weekends only, Saturday and Sunday, pending good weather. Our standard procedure every year is to keep the beaches open the 2 weekends, the week after Labor Day and the 2 weekends following that. So hopefully we'll have continued good weather for weekend for our second homeowners that will be able to come down on the weekends. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, John. I'm good. At this point, we'll open to public comment. You have 3 minutes to comment on any of the items that were discussed here today. If there is someone that wants to discuss something other than that, you can do that at the beginning of the next meeting.
Sewell, 22 West Drive. Following up on Mr. Deeney's comments, I don't think that this commission nor Mr. Deeney fully appreciate what the omissions are costing the taxpayers of Margate City. The mayor's follies over in Ocean City with that disreputable accountancy firm cost the taxpayers over $600,000. It was nearly $250,000 just for the retained attorney. I say, make it clear. Ban any and all pay-to-play, including services in kind. Let's make it crystal clear, totally unambiguous. Because, contrary to what the mayor says, let's move on. You don't move on after you have a cataclysmic disaster on your hands, which is created by his own gross negligence. Therefore, you have to, for an individual like the mayor, make it crystal clear. I don't know which labor lawyers you're talking to, Mr. Deeney, but I can tell you, any lawyer who would be against banning any and all pay-to-play, including services in kind, should review his own ethical standards that he's abiding by. And nepotism and patronage, you say there are 11 different clauses. Well, they're not tight enough to preclude the persistent, pernicious practice of nepotism and patronage in this town. It has to stop. It's costing taxpayers a bundle of money, and it's all unnecessary. You know, you can put on the nepotism and patronage clause, you know, banning any and all, that you could have a committee where there would be exceptions, but this independent committee and this independent body would reach a determination, not some backroom deal where you have incompetent people put in positions that they should never be in the first place. This is costing, you'll hear in the next hour, the $7 million cost. If you read my handout today, Finance Minister, watching the tax dollars, we have been watching $7 million hemorrhage each and every year because everybody has a vested interest in keeping the status quo, keeping a system functioning that's totally dysfunctional. So I call upon Mr. Deeney to have the boldness to ban any and all pay-to-play, including services in kind. Ban any and all nepotism and patronage unless you can get an independent body to reach an independent analysis.
15 seconds, Mr. Sewell.
I don't need 15 seconds, Mayor. You meditate during
Thank you very much, Mr. Sewell. Anyone else? Public comment? Is a motion to close public
So
comment?
moved.
Second.
Richard?
Mayor Becker.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Dean?
Mayor Becker.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
Thank you. We will reconvene at 5 o'clock.